I want to warn you, trigger warning. This is about to make people really mad. These are truly what I believe the quarterback rankings are as we sit here on March 1st, 2024.
This is Sharp Money with Patrick Meagher on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Tomorrow, the quarterbacks, Dustin, the wide receivers, and running backs are working out. I'm going to put you on the spot in a little bit when it comes to the running backs, but I have my quarterback big board. And I just want to say something. There's going to be a lot of indignation. There's going to be a lot of triggered people when I give you my big board. And let me just use an example. Andrew Luck was probably over the past decade or so the biggest prospect coming out of college, and he hit. Now, he retired early, but he hit. The second biggest prospect coming out of college over the past, 10, 12 years was Trevor Lawrence. If I were to take 100 viewers and listeners of VSiN right now and ask you, what do you think about Trevor Lawrence moving forward? 50 of you would say, I think he's going to be very, very good and could win a Super Bowl. And 50 you would say, he's trash, move on, Jacksonville. That's how polarizing the quarterback conversations can be. And that's how off many times we are with our evaluation. Having said that, I'm going to give you my big board because we have a lot of time until the draft, but these are truly what I believe the quarterback rankings are as we sit here on March 1st, 2024. I'm not trolling. This isn't a Dustin top 10 appetizer list. This is legitimately what I believe and who I believe are the best quarterbacks out of this draft. It's a fertile ground for quarterbacks this year. And we're going to start with number one. Number one with the bullets, and he's impressing everybody with his personality today, is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to go one, and you'll hear why coming up later in the program, to the Chicago Bears, and he has to go one. His mechanics in the pocket, his feel for the game, his off-schedule ability, which he was forced to play off-schedule at USC specifically this past year because his offensive line was atrocious and his skill position was overrated. He dealt with dirty pockets incessantly and dealt with them perfectly. The guy's electric. He is Patrick Mahomes reincarnate. Does he have the size? No, but he is going to measure close to 6'1". I was off on that. His arm is exquisite. The intangibles are immeasurable. His personality is awesome, infectious. Whatever it is, Caleb Williams has it. He's not going to be a very good pro. He's going to be a superstar. He's elusive. He came out of his mom born to play the position. He was asked to do too much this past year at USC and still led the pack. He is incredible. Caleb Williams with a bullet is the best quarterback and will be drafted by the Chicago Bears 1 overall. Number 2 on my list, and there's a clear number 2 in this year's draft. And then it's going to get interesting, people. Jayden Daniels is number 2. Look, Jayden Daniels is a dude that if you look at him, you think, he's frail. He could get hurt. Hello, we just had a record amount of backups play this past year because everybody gets hurt. Joe Burrow is sturdy. Joe Burrow gets hurt. That happens. He missed most of his rookie season. Jayden Daniels is a guy that has Lamar-like quickness, the quick twitch. We'll see when he runs whether or not he has the speed straight line, but just visually, he has that type of electricity. He has not just a good arm accuracy-wise level 1 and level 2. He has a great arm accuracy-wise. He has the ability to push the ball down the field. I think he's the second best deep thrower over the football. I'll get to number 1 in just a second. Jayden Daniels is a dude his teammates love. Yes, when he went and collected his Heisman, he opened up the suit jacket and it was all about him with pictures of himself, and Michael Penix Jr. had every one of his teammates' name. Okay, I understand Daniel. However, if you listen to Daniels, you like Daniels. If you listen to Daniels, you want Daniels. Daniels is a clear number 2 with a bullet. Okay? Dustin, now, again, if I were to bring up a comp, I'd say Lamar Jackson, but he is ahead of schedule as far as throwing the football, as far as Lamar Jackson coming out of college. He runs a little upright for my liking, and I think he could take some hits, but he's got balls, he's got intelligence, he's got also what Caleb has, the it factor. Teammates, as he matured, and remember, 5-year starter in college for Daniels, teammates really started to gravitate around him. He went from Arizona State, where his teammates were packing up his locker to get him the hell out of there, to LSU, where his teammates loved him. Did he have 2 of the best wide receivers in college football? He did. Did he have Brian Kelly? He did. But with a bullet, Jayden Daniels, big guy, is number 2. Any surprises on my big board thus far?
No, my question is, how big is the gap between Caleb and Jayden Daniels for you?
Not huge. It's clear, but not huge. And today, what you learn, because you're seeing, we're going to play the audio for you coming up in just a bit. The big guy pulled some audio because the quarterbacks are talking today. All these kids are personable. These kids are different than even just 10 and 15 years ago. They all have tremendous personalities. They all have vernaculars that will surprise you. They all are charismatic. And Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams was running around today trying to interview the players because he's just that type of guy. Jayden Daniels is a legit 6'4". He may be 205 pounds. That is the only way, and the frame is thin, so you don't know if he's really going to bulk up at the next level, but you don't necessarily need to be necessarily 220, 225 pounds to be a big-time player at the next level. I think Jayden Daniels is going to be a star in the league. As far as a chasm between Williams and Daniels, there is a split, but it's not major.
Yeah,
I would say the split from 2 to 3, and when we return, I'm going to get to number 3. I would say the split from 1 and 2, and then 2 to 3, there's a bigger chasm between 2 and 3. Fair?
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think with Williams, the upside is I don't even know if our imaginations understand what he's capable of being in today's NFL with his skill set. With Daniels, I see a very high floor. You compared him to Lamar. I think he's Lamar with a much more advanced passing game than Lamar maybe even has right now.
I think the accuracy is advanced. Lamar has a great arm, kind of a tricky release, but the accuracy, you're right, with Daniels is advanced. Safe space, don't judge. I'm not going to judge you. This is my eyeballs, my scouting. You do your own. What I saw this year and who I would draft in order as far as the quarterbacks. You're going to get indignant at what's about to come up, but I'm just telling you, this is who I like. I had Caleb Williams at 1. Number 2 with a bullet, a clear number 2 is Jayden Daniels. Number 3 has a big, strong arm. Number 3, as far as I'm concerned, is the best deep ball thrower in college football, the best prospect coming out as far as the deep ball. He throws it effortlessly. He exhibits elite field generalship, excels in dissecting defenses. He doesn't lose football games except the last one he played. I'm going to say this as well. Tua is about to get his second deal. If you told Miami you could have this quarterback starting today, they would get rid of Tua in 2 seconds. I know the comp is easy because they're both left-handed, but number 3 on my big board as far as the quarterbacks is Michael Penix Jr. I mean, I absolutely love this guy. I think he is so underrated, and what he showed you in the Final Four is even after the surgeries, there's still some elusiveness. I'm not concerned about the injuries because, like I said, there's a potential for all of these guys. ACL, Joe Burrow. I can keep on and on down the line, and he's a sturdy kid. Penix Jr. came back and became an elite player. The confidence he instills in his teammates. When he went up to the Heisman, he opened up his coat, and it was listing all of his teammates' names. That's the type of guy. Able to bounce back quickly. I like a guy that's been through some hardship in life, like the surgeries, and Michael Penix Jr. And if you just want to talk about a natural thrower of the football, he throws about as beautiful a ball as you're going to see. Effortless on the deep balls. Michael Penix Jr., believe it with your eyes. Like, we're talking about whether or not these guys are going to hit. And it's a 50-50 proposition. What I saw in college from Penix, it's not just a natural thrower of the football. Now, does he throw one speed at all times? Yes. He's going to have to put some touch on those level 2 throws. I understand. But outside the pocket, inside the pocket, just a natural. 6'3", good sturdy build. He can add some weight. And again, a 50-50 proposition with these players. I believe Penix is going to be on the right side of 50. He's number 3, big guy.
I think he's the type of guy that could potentially go later, right? Later first round, probably second round most likely, and end up on a good team that needs a quarterback, that maybe has a quarterback battle next year. And I think his accuracy could put them over the top. He's so natural at throwing the football, made a ton of big plays. That offense was really, really good. The only knock on him is the medicals to me. And once the medicals come back fine and he looks good for the future, I think someone's going to get a steal.
Would you prefer him or Kenny Pickett? Because Kenny Pickett went mid-first round. You'd prefer Michael Penix Jr. Penix Jr. is a first-rounder. So is the next quarterback on my list. Again, safe space, don't judge. I'm not judging you. It's Bo Nix. Bo Nix is the fourth best quarterback coming out this year. This guy is so underrated. He has a big, huge, loose arm. The ball just absolutely pops out of his hands, unlike Drake Maye, who can throw the ball 80 yards, but is kind of lethargic coming out of the hand. 6'2", 220, 45 touchdowns for Nix and 3 interceptions. Did you know that Bo Nix, and yes, a lot of those completions are behind the line of scrimmage, but did you know he completed nearly 78% of his passes? For the most part, aside from Josh Allen, completion percentage, accuracy is an innate skill for quarterbacks. So quick, so springy and athletic. 24 years old. Okay, that means you have a starter for 12 years. I'll take it. Great home run threat. Ability to throw the deep ball is exquisite. A lot of good deep ball throwers in this draft. Bo Nix is one of them. I'm going to be honest with you. The Bo Nix, Michael Penix conversation was tighter than number 5 on my list. So recap. Caleb 1, Jayden 2, Penix Jr. 3, safe space, Bo Nix 4. Those so far are my top quarterbacks, Dustin.
Bo Nix is interesting to me because there's just a lot of traits that make sense. He has a lot of experience. I think that has to matter. He's also a guy who's a little more athletic than he showed last year, but in prior seasons ran the ball a lot more and effectively. I think it depends on the scheme. The right offensive system is going to need to want him to play in there, but I do believe there is a way to scheme him up to be a dangerous weapon.
Number 5 and 6 were close, Dustin Swedelson, but number 5 on my list is Drake Maye. I think there's a prospect in there. You know, what I saw, did I like the fact that last year the picks went up and the completion percentage went down? No. If you're going to tell me he didn't have the talent, Caleb Williams didn't have the talent, and he balled out. Drake Maye, just based on size and the strength of his arm, I think he's a project, and that is the key word here. He's a project. He is not a year 1 starter. He is not going to step in and start. He's going to be year 2 or potentially year 3. I just don't see it in Drake Maye. Huge arm, a good athlete. Comparing to Roethlisberger coming out, you'd say, well, Roethlisberger's a Hall of Famer and won a Super Bowl. Roethlisberger coming out of Miami of Ohio was a tremendous athlete. People forget that because he got, fat. And then he slowed down and just became a pocket passer. This Drake Maye does not have the skill in the pocket that Ben Roethlisberger did, nor will he ever. Drake Maye, when he gets outside the pocket, footwork is dirty, not good. And those little slants that you see him overthrowing or underthrowing or behind the wide receiver, those are gimmies. Those are bunnies in the college game, and he missed them aplenty. Drake Maye's number 5 on my list, only because I think there's a prospect in there. And if he goes to the right team and gets the right coaching, I think potentially he could be a starter.
He's Jordan Love, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you don't waste the number 3 pick on Jordan Love. Like, you don't take a guy who's not going to play right away that high. That's who he is. There's a skill set in there, but he's got to be developed in the right system. And if you're drafting him and it's in the first round, are you going to have the time while you're trying to win to develop that guy? It's going to be tough.
Spencer Rattler, big guy, is number 6 on my list. Safe space, don't judge, indignance abound, because you haven't heard from Mr. McCarthy yet. You'll hear from him. Spencer Rattler is next. I think he's the toughest quarterback. I think he's the biggest dog coming out of the draft. He's a dude that is just a freaking dog, and he's grown up. He matured from Oklahoma to South Carolina. A lot of maturity ensued. He has a huge arm. He has the ability to make things happen. He is a lot like Caleb Williams in the sense that he was kind of born to play the position. Accuracy-wise, he can struggle at times, but he played behind a sieve of an offensive line 2 straight years at South Carolina and made something happen. Spencer Rattler is going to be a starter in the league, and I just like the fact that if you draft him, you're bringing in a dude. You're bringing in a dog. I love Rattler.
Yeah, I think this is where you completely botch these rankings. Spencer Rattler being at 6 is crazy because to me, I think I have him at 3 or 4. I think he is such a natural thrower. That arm is electric. To me, his floor is like Sam Howell, and I think there's going to be a debate over the next few years whether Sam Howell's a starter and he has a chance to develop. I think that's the floor Rattler shows up with on day one. I think he has a chance to be a legit NFL starter. That team stunk. South Carolina stinks. They have no weapons.
I would have liked to hear you say this before I stepped up and put my board up there. I would like to have heard you say, with all the pressure and all the judgment that comes along with throwing up a board, that you had Spencer Rattler as your third-rated quarterback. I would have liked to seen it.
Well, he's 3rd or 4. I think his upside is greater than Michael Penix. I'd say that. I don't know if he's as safe as a pick as Michael Penix. Michael Penix feels like a little bit more complete as a quarterback right now, but there's no denying when Spencer Rattler gets to camp, he's going to be the talk of that mini camp.
When he gets to camp, he's going to take over the quarterback room. And despite being viewed as kind of a mobile quarterback, he's a skilled pocket passer. Spencer Rattler, watched every South Carolina game. He's a dog. Love this player. And then finally, we come to J.J. McCarthy. He's the 7th best quarterback, according to me and my big board, Patrick Maher. J.J. McCarthy's the 7th best quarterback. I'd use a 3rd to 5th round pick on him. I think that's fine because certainly he's just 21 years old. He's a big kid. I guess he has a big arm. We didn't see much of it at Michigan. But I'll use this as an example. Do you like Daniel Jones? If Daniel Jones was your starter in Jacksonville or your starter in Kansas City, would you be excited about the season? Because have you seen the Spider-Man meme of Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man? Daniel Jones is pointing at J.J. McCarthy, and J.J. McCarthy is pointing at Daniel Jones. They're the same player. Good luck with that. Daniel Jones is remarkably athletic. Daniel Jones has a huge arm. He's J.J. McCarthy.